When Megan Thee Stallion said, looking in the mirror like, damn, I don't brag enough, I felt it. Yo, what's up? It's Brian. I'm back with another video. So y'all, my ears are so dirty right now, like literally like super dirty. And I feel like the biggest indicator that it's time to clean my ears out is that whenever I put my AirPods in and I pull them out, it wax on them. And don't even be looking at me like, it's happened to you before. Let's be clear, we all have earwax. So don't do that. So I am cleaning my ears out today, and if you guys have been subscribed to the channel for a while, you already know what time it is. I haven't done this video in a minute, but I pulled out my Spade by Axel Glade, which is an earwax removal tool that allows you to see inside your ears as you clean them. So literally it connects to your phone, and you're able to use your phone to kind of see what's in your ears as you're extracting whatever earwax you have in them. And I had no intention to make this video, but I woke up this morning and I had a topic on my mind, and I was like, why not just kind of merge the two? You know, I wanted to share the a little bit about the topic anyway, and then I was like, I also need to clean my ears, and you guys like that video, so why not merge the two? And I really wanted to do it because lately I've been in a space of like creativity, and I'm so glad to be back into that space, because for a couple of years, which is why I took a break from YouTube for a minute anyway, I fell into a creative rut, and it was so hard to get back into it. So now anytime I have an idea to make content, I'm literally like pulling out the camera like, let's get this app opened. It's been a minute since I even did all this. I probably forgot how to use it, and I have to connect it to the Spade Wi-Fi. Spade, here we go. Okay, all right, and we are connected. There we go, we ready. Look at that, look at already ain't even in the ear yet. I got a paper towel right here, and it always looks on camera like it's just so much earwax, but it's really not as much there as you think it is. If you guys have been listening to my podcast, which I know a couple of you do, it's called In My Black Opinion, and you can find it on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that. I'll link it in the description box below. And I'm sorry if I repeat myself several times throughout this video. It's because I can't multitask. But I'm always talking about being kind to yourself. Now, I go into it a little bit, but I don't really go into detail about what I mean by being kind to yourself. So I decided to sit down and kind of have a deep conversation with you guys about it today. Well, not deep, but just kind of go a little bit deeper into it. Y'all, my ears, look at that. I don't know if you can see it. Nasty, right? Ew. Okay. Basically what I mean by being kind to yourself is to be intentional about how you speak about yourself, because I think a lot of times we are kind of our own worst critics, and that's okay. You know, acknowledge it. Acknowledgement is good. But it's also just really important to speak kind to yourself. People who speak positively to themselves are usually more inspired, more motivated, have better confidence. And I talk here a lot about confidence, and I think it's so important to establish some kind of self-confidence, because as I always mention, like your confidence speaks before you even open your mouth, period. I feel like when you're trying to be the best version of yourself, it's important to establish that confidence. My mom used to always say, you know, watch the things that you say. There's power in the tongue. The things that you say about yourself, whether you realize what you're saying or not, are things that you start believing about yourself. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that. It definitely is true. That's why I believe fully that it's so important to take the steps to just realize what you're saying about yourself and just do better, you know? And it's okay. We have our days. I know I still struggle with it sometimes too. But you just really have to be intentional about the things that you say to yourself. Like, I think for me, where I have issues is I speak negatively about my appearance. Oh my God, this is disgusting. I think for me, growing up, I said this before on the channel, I've struggled a lot with self-confidence, self-worth, like valuing myself, nitpicking and tearing myself apart, just labeling myself these negative things. And I think that it influenced a lot about how I felt about myself growing up, and it really took a big huge hit on my confidence. I've always been super shy, super reserved, but a lot of that had to do with my confidence. You know, I suffered from a lot of social anxiety. I hated being around people. I hated being the center of attention. growing up because of my confidence, because I didn't like how I felt about myself, and that primarily had to do with the way I was talking about myself. Talking to myself about myself, communicating with myself rather. It got to a point where I literally would do these things without even notice. Like, there was literally times where I'd sit in the mirror, look at myself and be like, bro, you fat. It just became so natural that I would do it without even noticing. And even if I didn't say things out loud, I still would feel it in my spirit, you know? We say things about ourselves without even realizing like what we're saying, you know? It just becomes second nature. And that's why it's so important to start changing those habits. That's why affirmations are so important to me. To make sure that you're affirming yourself, and that way you can kind of change your perception of yourself, you know? And it'll help in so many areas of your life. Not only will it help with your confidence, but it'll also help with the things that you tolerate, the things that you feel worthy of. I didn't really stumble. Oh my God, this ear is horrible. I didn't really stumble into self-worth and like self-esteem and self-confidence until I became an adult, like in my early adult years. I think it happened for me after I started taking better care of myself, like my skin, like paying attention to the things that I wear. Yo, this ear is nasty. Oh my gosh, look at all that wax. But anyway, like paying attention to like my hygiene. And I feel like not only did self-care teach me to like how to value myself, but I was taking the time to like get to love myself, you know? And I think at the same time as like I'm starting to get to know myself, and I think that's important as well, because when you know yourself and know yourself fully, it makes it easier to speak to yourself a little bit better, you know what I mean? Start to look at what's great about you. You also start to look at your weaknesses and start realizing that those weaknesses doesn't make you any less than a person. I started to feel better about myself, and I started communicating with myself better. And so it shifted my mindset. Like, how can you really expect people to be kind to you if you're not being kind to yourself, you know? And I feel like that trickles down into like your personal relationships, because you start to tolerate things from people that you wouldn't tolerate otherwise. So you have to like learn how to treat yourself first before you can even have any expectations about how somebody is supposed to treat you. Growing up, I wouldn't say that I was necessarily bullied, but I definitely had people around me that I considered friends or called friends, realized that they weren't really friends, but you know, we live, we learn, that would make jokes about, you know, my weight, my appearance, not being athletic or whatever. Like, they would really, you know, really pick on that. I think for me, a lot of that bothered me. At the time, I thought it was what they were saying that was bothering me, but really, I think what really bothered me is the fact that it just kind of confirmed what I was feeling about myself. It was confirming. I'm gonna put that in air quotes, because what I was saying about myself was some bullshit anyway. But hearing somebody that you consider a friend say those things about you, it can kind of make it feel like, dang, it must be true. I would even start saying things about myself before people would have the opportunity to say them. Like, I would basically be trying to beat them to the punch. It wasn't until like I got a real solid core set of friends that I was able to kind of get away from them just a little bit. I remember bringing some of that stuff up to them, and not because I wanted an apology or anything. Hey, you know, some of the stuff you used to say about me used to bother me. You know, I just kind of wanted to acknowledge it. What I was met with most of the time was, you know, those are just jokes. But if you allow me to make you feel that way about yourself, that's on you. But honestly, it was the truth. Like I said, it didn't have anything to do with what they were saying to me. It had to do with how I was feeling about myself and what I was saying to myself, and using their words as validation for the reason I should talk to myself the way I was talking to myself, you know? I play a role in it because of the things that I'm constantly feeding myself about myself. That's why I feel so strongly about speaking kind to yourself, because when you do, again, you subconsciously believe what you say. Things that other people say to you don't even matter, because those are not things that you believe about yourself. You can kind of brush it off a little bit easier. Is it hurtful? Yeah. But at the same time, when you know you, you know you. Y'all, this is nasty. But we just gotta start being our biggest hype, man. We gotta start hyping ourselves up. We gotta start believing the positive things about ourselves and training our mind to see nothing but greatness. And sometimes it may be easier said than done. I definitely have my moments where I regress sometimes, and sometimes I'm not 100% kind to myself, and it's okay, because we're all human, you know? We have moments. We have human moments. It's definitely human nature. I have been intentional about trying to combat those moments and remind myself of what I'm doing. I'm just fueling negative thoughts about myself, you know? So this is what I'm asking you to do. Over the next couple of days, pay attention to your inner dialogue, or the things that you are saying out loud about yourself, and notice the trend. Like, are you supporting yourself? Are you affirming yourself? Are you being critical or negative about yourself? Could you be overreacting? You know? Are you labeling yourself negatively? Are you jumping to conclusions? Because that's a thing too. But just pay attention to your thoughts. And I think that the first step is to really realize what's happening. You know, pay attention to what's happening, what you're actually doing. See, down by my eardrum is always so clean. It just literally be my outer ear that just be so dirty. Yeah, my ears aren't that bad at all. Anyway, so I'm saying all that to say, be kind to yourself, talk better to yourself. When Megan Thee Stallion said, looking in the mirror like, damn, I don't brag enough, I felt it. Like, for real, I felt it. Anyway, I hope I made sense. I feel like I was talking in circles. I feel like I didn't even really get to my point, and I really hope y'all received something from this video. Again, I can't multitask, so hopefully I get better, because I do plan to do some videos like this more often. I hope you guys were able to take something away from me. I hope I gave you something to work on, because only you can tell yourself who you really are, you know? Only you can define yourself. Nobody else can. So if you're giving yourself these negative characteristics or negative attributes or negative labels, you start to become that in your mind. And that ain't doing nothing at all for the confidence. And when you're talking about developing self-esteem, self-worth, it all starts with your thoughts and the things that you're telling yourself, whether you're saying them out loud or just thinking them. I don't really know. I don't know everything, but I know for me, at least, it was transformative. Give yourself a pep talk. You don't need nobody else to affirm you. Only give yourself good vibes. And that's on what? Mary Had a Little Lamb. Anyway, you guys, I'm about to end this video right here. If you guys like this video, scroll on down the page a little bit more, find the subscribe button, click subscribe. While you're doing that, I want you to click that bell icon right beside the subscribe button. That way you can be notified each and every time I upload a new video. And also, check out the description box. I will leave links down there from whatever I mentioned in this video. I can't even remember. It just became a blur at this point. As well as links to all of my social medias. That way, you can follow me wherever I am. Y'all want to see this napkin before I go? Look at all the earwax. I guess it ain't that much. That's kind of disgusting. Anyway, bye y'all.